Hey guys, and welcome back to EQ Planes, and today I'll be doing an airport update for Edmonton, Alberta. Edmonton, due to its traffic being smaller than some other Canadian airports, isn't an airport I typically do, so this will be part of my random Canadian model airport updates series. I know I've received lots of requests for Hamilton Airport, however, I'd like to wait till a swoop 737 MAX is released, along with some more cargo jet aircraft like the 767-300 and 200s, along with their 777s in the future at some point as well. However, that's still a bit down the line. Another thing of note around the cargo jet 777s is that they will no longer be taking the 300s as well, only 777-200s. However, now with that being said, this perfectly leads me into the first aircraft of our airport update for today, that being a cargo jet 757-200, which is departing out for Hamilton. Following that, we have the Air Canada A330, which will be headed out to Toronto. Now, Air Canada typically switches this out between the 777s, the 787s, and the A330s. However, as of late, they seem to be being a bit more consistent with A330 services to Edmonton, rather than the typical Dreamliners. Following him, we have this Aeroflyer 737-600, which will be making a flight out to Las Vegas today. Now, here we have the Air Canada CRJ900, which will be making the flight down to San Francisco. Taxiing behind him, we have this Flair Air 737 MAX 8, which will be making the flight down to Phoenix today. Will definitely be interesting to see what Flair's future is going to look like from here on out, now that their order book has been cancelled and for their aircraft seized. Next up, we have what's a pretty rare visitor to Edmonton, but we have the Buffalo Airways C46. He is stopped here on the way up from Red Deer and will be headed out to Hay River. Here we have Air Canada's A220, which will be making the flight out to Montreal today. And now here we have the Westjet Q400, which will be making a flight up to Fort McMurray today. Now, definitely hoping to see some new livery Westjet Q400s at some point. Westjet just painted their first SAB 340 into the new livery, so hopefully this is a sign to come that we will start seeing some more new livery Westjet aircraft. Next up, we have this Air Canada A321, which will be operating one of the many flights to Vancouver today. Taxiing behind him, we have this Westjet 737-800, which will be making the flight out to Halifax today. You can definitely see WestJet start to focus more on Western Canada now, as they've definitely expanded their route networks out of Calgary and Edmonton in both new routes and frequencies for the coming summer 2023 season. Definitely interested in seeing what other direct routes could possibly be coming out of Edmonton sometime soon. Here we have Swoop 737-800, which will be making a short flight down to Abbotsford today. Now, for those of you who may not know, the Swoop 737-800s are planned to be retired in the summer of 2023. Now, although Swoop's schedule has shrunken over the past bit here, I'm definitely interested in seeing what aircraft will replace their 737-800s, as they still make up about half the Swoop fleet as of right now. So whether that is more whitetail 737 MAXs or 737 MAXs from Sunwing, which recently got merged into WestJet, who owns Swoop. However, I think if the aircraft don't end up being replaced and they just further cut the Swoop network, I have a feeling Swoop is going to get killed off at some point. And with regards to what will end up happening to Swoop's current 737-800s, I have a feeling they'll just get filtered right back into WestJet, as these are some very young 737-800s, as I believe most of them were built around 2015-2016. And here we have the Delta 757-200, which is operating a VIP charter for the NHL and is coming in from Los Angeles today. And behind him we have this WestJet 737 MAX 8, which will be making the flight out to Honolulu today. And here we have the TCA Retrojet A220, which will be headed out to Ottawa. And here we have parked at a remote stand the Royal Canadian Air Force A310, which is coming from Ottawa today. Here we have the Canadian North 737-400 Combi, which will be making the flight out to Yellowknife today. Parked right beside him, we have this Canadian North 737-200, which will be headed out to Yellowknife as well today. Now, definitely going to be sad to see these Canadian North 737-200s go. There's currently only one left in the fleet right now, and from what I've heard, it looks like it'll be leaving the fleet sometime in April, so it'll definitely feel a bit like an end of an era, considering that the Canadian North 737-200, in my opinion, is one of Canada's most iconic aircraft. Definitely also hope to see NG make the 737-700, as that'd be really useful for their new Calgary to Yellowknife flights. Sitting at gate, here we have the KLM A330-200, which will be making a flight out to Amsterdam today. Definitely a nice addition to the updates. Really glad I got this model because it's going to look so nice at Calgary as well. There was a time during COVID when they were operating that route as a triangle route, flying the A330s into Calgary, then stopping in Edmonton on the way back out to Amsterdam. But as things from COVID have turned back to normal, this route is operating as normal once again. Here we have an Air Canada Q400, which will be making one of the many flights between Edmonton and Calgary today. Parked right next to him, we have this Westjet 737-800, which has just come in from Victoria. And here we have the Flair Air 737-800, which will be headed out to Kelowna today. Now this Flair Air 737-800, Charlie Foxtrot Lima Alpha, is actually one of the 737s that has been seized from them. They had 3 737 MAXs seized from them and this one 737-800. So if the aircraft don't come back, which is what it's looking like, Flair will be down to a fleet of just 2 737-800s. However, with those other 3 737 MAXs gone, and as I stated earlier, their order books being supposedly cleared now, I have a feeling the 737-800 will stick around a bit longer than what we initially thought. Next up, we have this Alaskan Airlines E175, which has just come up from Seattle. We'll definitely look into getting that Horizon Air retro livery Alaska E175 to try and spice things up a bit in the airport updates. Next up, I have the Sunwing 737-800, which has just come in from Mazatlan today. Now, it'll be interesting to see what happens with the Sunwing WestJet merger now that it's been officially approved by the government. Personally, I'd be really surprised if WestJet kept the Sunwing brand around considering the bad press it's received over the years. However, right now they seem to have intentions of keeping it around, which definitely has come as a bit of a shock to me, but like I said, we'll have to see how this all plays out in the coming year. And finally, for today's update, getting loaded up for a flight out to Cancun, we have the Air Canada 737 MAX. But yeah, that'll be it for today's airport update. Still waiting on a couple models to come in for my Calgary Airport Retro update, and have some other models coming in for the next airport update as well. So it probably won't be around for another month. But anyways, if you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing. Thank you guys for watching, and hope to see you guys back next time.